Okay, this is the Liechtenstein project, or the pop art project inspired by pop artist Liechtenstein. And here are some examples from the past students. Okay, let's get into it. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is you are going to want to take a really great base photograph. So you can take it yourself using the remote, or you can have someone help you out and take it for you. Then you're going to import it into Photoshop and then begin. So I'm going to start out by fitting to screen. Again, that is under View, Fit on Screen. The shortcut is Command or Control 0. Then what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the background layer. So Layer, Duplicate Layer, shortcut is Command J. And of course, I'm working on a Mac. If you are working on a PC, anytime that I say command, that would be control for you. So now we have a copy of our background, and we're going to eliminate the background from our background copy layer. So I'm going to hide this one down below, and I'm going to be working on the copy that I just made. You can use whatever selection tool of your choice. I'm going to start out using the object selection tool and see how well that goes. So I'm going to draw a box around my subject. It's going to survey the area and try and pull out the subject. Okay, it's a little messy, so now I'm going to come in with the quick selection tool on the plus in the options bar to clean that up. Okay, not too bad. So now I'm going to select the inverse, which is the background, and delete it. So I'm going to do select inverse, and I'm going to hit delete. Remember, there are several ways to do the same thing in Photoshop. This is just the way that I chose to do it. Now I'm going to deselect, select, deselect, or Command D as in dog. Okay, from this point, I'm going to still be working on my background copy layer. Remember that the checkerboard that we see here indicates transparency, so we know there's nothing there because I am hiding the background underneath of it. So now we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and we're going to go to Desaturate. Image, Adjustments, Desaturate. Now we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, Threshold, and we're going to set the threshold level around 115. You can experiment a little bit with this. Let me just show you. If I do 150, you're going to see a higher contrast with the black. If I go lower, you're going to see more weight and you're going to lose more of the features. So we're going to go with the 115, but again, you can play around with that. Most people will end up around 115, give or take a little bit. Then I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to do Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. I'm going to set it at 3 pixels. Perfect. And I'm going to click OK. I'm going to do Layer, Duplicate Layer, and then I'm going to select under the document, I'm going to select New, and I'm going to click OK. A new project window will open, which now you see you have 2 tabs here. So we're on the new tab that just opened, and we're going to go to Image, Mode, Grayscale, and then Discard. Now we're going to go to Image, Mode, Bitmap. a message will pop up asking if it's okay that you flatten the layers. You're going to verify, say okay. Then under the method, you're going to choose halftone screen and you're going to click OK. Then for frequency, you can experiment with the frequency number. The frequency will control the size of the dots, which is in the Liechtenstein style. You can start with 3. You can try, if you don't like it, you can just go back in your history panel and try different numbers. For the angle, you're going to leave it at the default 45. And for the shape, you're going to select round. Click OK. Again, if you're not happy with the results or the size of the dots, you can step back under your history panel, which can be found here. Remember, if you are ever missing any panel, you can always find them under the window menu in alphabetical order. If you ever need to reset everything back to default, you can just go Window, Workspace, Reset Essentials. Okay, moving on now. We're going to go Image, Mode, Grayscale. And you're going to select OK. And then you're going to go Image, Mode, and this time we're going to select RGB color. Remember, RGB color is our default color mode for working for things that are going to be online, and it is Photoshop's native color language. Now we're going to take this layer right here, we're going to grab the Move tool, and we're going to drag and drop it onto the project we started out with. Now as I started to do that, a message popped up and it says, do you want to convert it to a normal layer, because it is a locked background layer. So I'm going to hit convert to normal layer. Now I'm going to grab a hold of it, not letting go of my mouse. Now I'm over on the other project and I'm going to drop it. Now when I let go to drop it, it's asking me if I'm sure that I want to convert the colors, and I'm going to say okay. Here it is. I'm going to overlay it perfectly with the one under it, which you saw that little line, the cross, show up when it was perfectly aligned. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I will be creating a clipping mask. So you've done this in the past, layer, create clipping mask. Because the image underneath is cut out, now the image on top is cut out. Now we're going to merge these top 2 layers together. The shortcut to do that is to hold down Shift or Command, select both layers, and then Command E is the shortcut. The long way is Layer, Merge Layers. Okay, so now we're going to name this the portrait layer. We like to name our layers so we can keep track of everything. Okay, and now we're going to make a new layer and we're going to put it underneath, and we're going to name it Skin. We're going to drag it underneath the portrait layer. Now we're going to go back to the portrait layer real quick, and we're going to change our layer blending mode, to multiply. So right here we're going to change this to multiply. Now it's very important that all of the layers that we're going to make from here on out are under the portrait layer. So we're going to now go back to the skin layer. I'm going to briefly turn on the background layer so that I can see the colors that were in the original photo, because I am going to use those. So I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool, and I'm going to sample a skin color from the original image. After I've sampled it, I'm going to hide the layer again, and I see that the color showed up here. I'm going to grab the brush tool. The shortcut for the brush tool is B as in boy. And now I am going to, on the skin layer, I'm going to, using a hard edge brush, whatever size you choose, I'm going to paint over all of the area in this skin. You can adjust the size of the brush up in the options bar or with the bracket keys next to the P key on the keyboard. Okay, now I'm going to repeat the same steps for each different color on my portrait. So again, the steps, I'm going to unhide the background so I can see it. Going to go and sample the color. This time I'm going to do the lips. I'm going to sample the lip color. I'm going to make a new layer, name it lips. Then I'm going to grab my brush tool, hide my background layer, and go ahead and with my brush tool, very small brush in this case, to fill in my lip color. Now I'm going to repeat this for the shirt, and you also want to do this for any spots that you do want to have white. So in this case, I'm going to leave the eyes white and the headband white. So I will make a separate layer to also paint those two white. So now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to make a layer right on top of the background layer for our new background. So I'm going to click on the background layer, make a new layer, name it new background. Now this is going to start out with a base color, so we're going to use our paint bucket tool, and you're going to select whatever color that you want your background to be. Now this can change. Of course, if you don't like it or you want to do different renditions of it, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay, so I add my background in. Now I see some areas that I'm going to need to go back in and fill in. So I'm going to take care of that real quick here with the on the different layers. I think I have it all cleaned up now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a pattern for the background. So in order to do that, we're going to go and start a new document. So we're just going to do like a size of a blank sheet of paper. So we're going to do File, New, and I just have 11 inches, 8.5. I'm not even going to name it because we're not going to save it. I'm going to create. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my custom shape tool, and I'm going to look through the custom shapes. There's not a great selection. You can also search on the internet for different items that you'd want to use and use the same technique to do that. I'm just going to go with one of the flowers. So I'm going to do this one right here. And I'm going to pick kind of a contrasting color. So my background is red, so I'm going to choose a yellow. And I'm going to make a large flower. Okay. I'm going to get my spacing down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide my background. I'm going to merge these two layers together. So to do that, I hold down Shift or Command and then do Command E to merge them together. Now I'm going to duplicate them, Command J, and I'm going to grab the move tool and just move it over, and it's going to tell me when the spacing has aligned. See, everything is aligned. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my patterns panel, so Window, Patterns. I am going to take the second tool down, the rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to draw a selection around the flowers. And in the pattern panel, I'm going to hit the little plus to make a new pattern. I'm going to name it flower. We'll name it flower power. And I'm going to click OK. And when it's saved, it should show up right here. And now at this point, I'm going to go back to my original project. And I am going to go back to my new background layer, and I'm going to click on my pattern to apply it. Okay, so now you can adjust your pattern by double clicking right here on the pattern fill layer. So you can adjust the scale of it. You can adjust the angle of it. So play around with it until it is how you like, and then you're going to click OK. And now it's time to flatten the image and save.